situation where you have struggled with setting your boundaries, this is the video for you. Many people, many leaders struggle with setting boundaries. And in this video, I'm going to share with you a few insights as to why you may be struggling with your boundaries as a leader. Now, if any of these insights resonate with you, or you identify that, this is a struggle I am having, that's good. This is the way for you to move forward. One of the things that comes up when you are working with an executive coach is that we help you to uncover some of those challenges, obstacles that you may not necessarily be aware that you have. So, if any of these resonate with you, it's okay. This is how you're able to start moving forward and being able to set those boundaries. Now, if you are new to me, my name is Dr. Jacinta. And if you happen to be one of my amazing subscribers, welcome back, friend. I'm so glad that you're here today. The channel heavily focuses on advanced communication skills and strategies so that you can communicate confidently and concisely under pressure as a leader. If you are that person that has sometimes frozen when you are in front of a group of people, maybe you are that leader that has struggled when someone interrupts you or talks over you. Perhaps you are a leader to advocate for yourself, then I guarantee you that you will learn some tremendous insights from this channel specifically. Now, if you happen to be a woman in leadership, I provide executive coaching and consultation services just to you. You are welcome to reach out to me for an executive strategy session to help you develop a game plan as it relates to your career advancement and some of the areas that you're struggling with as a leader. If you are at a point where you want to learn more about these very high stakes, high pressure communication type of strategies, you absolutely want to sign up for a high stakes communication intensive. Now, why do leaders specifically struggle with setting boundaries? Why? One of the reasons why leaders specifically struggle with setting boundaries is because as the leader, there is a certain aspect of our persona or the way that we operate that we want people to know that we are always, if you're a good leader, that you are always readily accessible. You are always able to be the person people can talk to about whatever issues. And as leaders, this is something that we have to do. We have to be readily available and accessible to other people. But why do we struggle with saying boundaries? Let me know in the comments below. Have you ever struggled with saying a boundary? Have you ever struggled with saying a boundary to someone? If you have, let's talk about why and what are some challenges you're facing. I want to say hello to those of you watching the live today. If you have ever struggled with saying your boundaries or actually setting boundaries, let me know in the comments below. Let's talk about it. And let me know what part of the big, beautiful world you are joining from today. Now, the reasons why people and leaders specifically struggle with boundaries. And I'll give you really the number one reason. And if I have time, I'll share with you a bit more. They struggle with setting boundaries because they do not know what to say. Have any of you ever been in that situation before where you have not been able to articulate and say what you needed to say to set a boundary? I have, and it happens very often. Let me go into the chat. We have random AFFF says, hi, I'm from Southern California. Well, hello, friend. How you doing today? I used to live in Sacramento, and I never got the chance to go down to Southern California. And that is actually something I plan on doing at some point in time. But glad that you're here today. Let me know what questions you all have about setting boundaries specifically as a leader. As I mentioned, many people struggle with setting boundaries specifically because they do not know what to say when it comes down to setting boundaries. Now, if you are new to me or new to my channel, I focus very heavily on those very high stakes, high pressure situations in terms of how do you communicate. If you are wanting to learn more about communicating under pressure, when you are setting boundaries and verbally articulating those boundaries, that qualifies as a high stakes, high pressure situation. How many times have you been in a situation where you've had to set boundaries and you felt a bit stressed out about it? That's high stakes. And if this is a skill you're trying to learn how to master, let me share with you a couple videos on my channel you may want to take a look at that will help you to provide a very solid foundation to this skill. Any videos that are on my live tab that talk about being able to Think on your feet, manage your emotions under pressure, maintaining eye contact, modifying your tone of voice, having difficult conversations, or being able to control your facial expressions. Any of those videos will give you a very solid foundation to start developing those under pressure type of skills. Most leaders and most leaders, I would say, they know how to communicate. They're able to say words in an articulate way. But what happens when the conversation goes under pressure? That's where people tend to struggle. And that is my expertise. If you subscribe to this channel, I guarantee you're going to learn how to master this. And if you work with me directly as a client, you automatically are going to have the skills that everybody else does not have. Okay, random AFFF says, do you think setting boundaries are mainly difficult due to the fact of not wanting to displease others? Yes, I would say that's just a big point of it. Asa, hello, welcome. How are you doing today? Yes, random. That is a really good point because in several of my videos, I've talked about this. And in the month of December of 2025, the entire month, I talked about boundaries, the entire month. So there's a lot of great insights there. But to answer your question, yes, a lot of times people, I wouldn't necessarily say it's displeasing others. I would say people do not want to be involved in a conflict. They don't want to be in a situation where they're having a challenge or they're being argumentative. And sometimes it may come across as displeasing, but a lot of times it's simply they just don't want to deal with conflict or they're not comfortable dealing with conflict. And what happens is people will not share their boundaries in that situation because they're afraid of what's going to happen. I don't want to make anybody mad. I don't want to rock the boat. Those are some very, very common statements that are made or that I hear from my clients specifically when they're trying to set boundaries. So, Random, I appreciate you mentioning that because that displeasing aspect does play a factor into it for sure. And people sometimes feel they just don't want to make somebody mad. They want people to be happy. What's the root reason why they want people to be happy? What is it? Because they are not comfortable with conflict. And if you subscribe to this channel, you follow my content here on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, I just started on TikTok, or you work with me directly as a client, then you will be able to be a bit more comfortable articulating your boundaries just by watching the content here. I have had countless audience members. I've had countless clients that if we had not started working together initially, we have had a conversation about boundaries and they were able to set the boundaries just by our conversation within a few moments. This is something that I take very seriously in terms of communication. Many of you know that I have over a thousand videos here on my YouTube channel that are focused to those very complex situations in terms of how do you communicate them and show your expertise as a leader. There are not a lot of channels on YouTube in general that have over 1,000 videos, and there's definitely no videos or no channels rather that are talking about those very high stakes, high pressure situations in a live setting like I do here. I have done so many lives here on YouTube that I am a part of YouTube's live streamer research panel, and I've been on that panel for a year now, and I'm helping them to shape live streaming on the platform. So you're going to learn a lot of information here, and I'm sharing this with you because I genuinely want you all to be very successful. Most leaders struggle with communication when it is time for that conversation to go under pressure. I do not want you to be that person that is caught off guard when someone says something to you that may be argumentative. Maybe someone is trying to give you a hard time. Maybe someone shares information to you and you weren't expecting it. I want you to have a very systematic way in terms of how you manage that. Now, we've talked about some insights why people struggle with boundaries. One insight is they struggle because they simply do not know what to say. They really don't know what to say. Why do they not know what to say? Processing that information, as Random mentioned a moment ago, that displeasing aspect starts to factor into their thought process. And what happens when our brains are trying to process too much information at once? We shut down. We completely shut down. And that's the reason why people say, I don't know what to say. It's their default response because their mind is overloaded and they don't know how to process it. but I teach you here on this channel that there are ways for you to be able to process complex information all at once so that you can set those boundaries. So displeasing, thank you, random AFFF, for bringing that up. And I appreciate your insight on that. Another reason why people struggle with boundaries is because of the fact that they don't want to have a conflict. They don't want any conflict. They don't want to rock the boat, and etc. Another reason why people struggle with boundaries, and I know this is a bit more than what we were going to talk about in this live, a lot of times people don't even know what their boundaries are, or they don't know what boundaries they actually need because they have not taken that time to have that reflection on themselves, on their lives, on maybe some goals they're trying to accomplish, and etc. They just haven't had the time. They haven't had the time to really sit down and think, well, what do I need to set my boundaries as? One of the things that I personally struggled with when I was working in senior executive roles. So I've worked as a C-suite executive, I worked as a director of large organizations, was time. And I struggle with time so much that I became burnt out. And the reason why I became burnt out is because I had a very difficult time setting my time boundary. Once I was able to determine and set up my boundaries in a way to where they were communicated in a respectful way, but in a way that protect me and my family and my sanity, things worked out better for me. But a lot of it came down to communication. Many times, in my case specifically, and let me know in the comments below if you've ever experienced this, where you are working with perhaps your team members or maybe your supervisors, your managers, your bosses, or etc., where you feel like you want to say something, but you're worried that, oh no, they're going to be upset with me, or maybe this is going to cost me my job, and etc. Let me know if that's ever happened to you, because it's happened to me, and I know it probably has happened to some of you. There's just a way you have to say it. That's what it comes down to. And your boundary that you need to set has to be so important to you to where nothing else really matters. For example, if you have not taken the time to think about your boundaries, seriously, think about what boundaries you need. Or maybe you are a leader, maybe you're a woman in leadership, and maybe you've said, I don't know what my boundaries are. I just know I'm stressed out and I'm frustrated. Okay, there's a reason you're stressed out and frustrated, especially if you're in the workplace. And some of it may have to do with boundaries, not all of it, but some of it may have to do with the boundaries that you're setting. You may not be setting those boundaries, and you may not be setting those boundaries because you don't even know what those boundaries are. So that's a major reason why people tend to struggle sometimes with boundaries. They just don't know what boundaries they need. So take some time today, when you have a moment, to think about what aspects of your professional life, because that's what I'm heavily focusing in on this channel specifically. But of course, there's personal boundaries that you may need to set too. But think about specifically, what is it that what are you struggling with right now as a leader? Are you struggling with certain projects that are taking too much of your time? What is it? What is it specifically that you might be struggling with? And when you determine why you are struggling with those things, then I want you to really think about and consider, well, what do I really need to have happen for me to be able to not struggle with this anymore? There's a lot. And I guarantee you, if you take just a few moments out of your day to seriously think about this, you'll gain some additional insight that will help you be able to set some of those boundaries. Now, I hope this information has been helpful to you. If you are new to my channel, I go live consistently here on YouTube almost at the minimum 7 times a week, sometimes 8, just depends on the week. I really do focus on high stakes communication, high pressure communication. And if you're wanting to learn more of those advanced communication skills that will allow you to stand out from everybody else, this is the best channel on YouTube for you to be a part of. I am on a mission here to build the largest high stakes, high pressure content library for leaders on planet Earth. And I am just getting started. We have over 1,000 videos here on this channel, and I'm just getting started. And if you want to be a part of something very big and be that person that can communicate at the exceptional level, not the average level. If you want to just communicate at the average level, this is probably not the channel for you. This channel specifically is going to help you communicate at an exceptional level. And if you want to do that, you absolutely should join. Okay, I want to say hello to Lily Pearl. Hello, Lily. Hope you're doing well today. Good to see you, Lily. Let me know what questions you have. If there is a topic, if there is a specific situation you are dealing with, let me know. I tend to deal with the hard situations. So bring to me the hard things. The easy things I can provide you insight on, but my expertise is really in situations that are a bit more complex. And if you're watching any of my videos on my live tab and you see something in the video that really resonates with you and you think to yourself, I would like to learn a bit more about that, or I want to get some more insight on that, then contact me. Feel free to reach out to me. Send me a message here on YouTube. You can send something in the comments below. I do have a communities page also, and if you have a post that you want to share, of course, make sure it's appropriate, highly focused on communication and professional, then you're always welcome to put something there as well. Welcome to those of you joining the live today. Hope you're doing well. We just talked about why people struggle with boundaries, and I'll go over it really quickly as a recap for those of you who just joined the live. Welcome, welcome. The reason why you may be struggling with setting your boundaries as a leader, why you're struggling with setting your boundaries as a leader, some of it will have to do with the fact that you may not know what to say when you need to set your boundaries. Random mentioned something also that was very helpful. You may be in that mode where you're just trying to please everybody. That may be a reason why you're struggling to set your boundaries. You may be in a situation where you completely are averse to conflict. You do not want to have any conflict. That may be a reason why you're struggling with your boundaries. And also, you may be struggling with your boundaries because you don't know what boundaries that you need. If any of these resonated with you, put it in the comments below which one stood out the most to you. And if you like this information or this topic, you absolutely want to subscribe to the channel. You're welcome to watch a couple of my videos here on my live tab before subscribing so you can get to know me and understand how I'm here to help you be able to communicate confidently and concisely under pressure. If you happen to be a woman in leadership, I'm here to support you in executive coaching or a consultations type of way. You're welcome to reach out to me for an executive communication or executive strategy session to develop a game plan. And if you're very serious about developing your communication skills so that you can advance in your careers very quickly, stop leaving money on the table, and not be that person that freezes when you speak, then you absolutely want to do the high stakes communication intensive that is at exciteexcellence.org. Let me know how I can support you. Let me know what you need support with, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.